All right, today we're going to plug into the most complex and fascinating system known to science. And guess what? It's running inside you right now. Let's dive in.
You know that feeling, right? You drop your phone, and somehow your hand just snatches it out of midair before you can even process what happened. That incredible, superhuman speed? That's not magic. It's the work of the sophisticated, high-speed network that runs your entire body. We are, of course, talking about your nervous system.
So, how is this amazing biological network even organized? To really get it, we've got to start with the big picture, the two major divisions that control absolutely everything you do, think, and feel. A great way to think about it is like it's the government of your body. It's constantly getting intel from the outside world and from inside you. It makes all the big decisions, and then it sends out the orders to make things happen. It is the ultimate coordinator. Now, this government is split into two main departments. First up, you've got the central nervous system, the CNS. This is your command center, your headquarters. We're talking about the brain and the spinal cord. Then you have the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. Think of these as all the field agents, all the nerves branching out, connecting that headquarters to every single part of your body. Okay, so if the nervous system is this giant, sprawling network, what are the wires made of? What's actually carrying all that information? Well, it's time to meet the absolute star of the show. The hero of this whole story is the neuron. These little guys are the fundamental building blocks of the entire nervous system. They're super specialized cells that carry messages around as tiny electrical signals or impulses. And you have billions, literally billions of them, creating a network that is just unimaginably complex.
So, let's take a look at how one of these things is built for speed. See these little branch-like things here? Those are dendrites. They're like antennas, always listening for signals from other neurons. That signal comes into the cell body, which is like the processor. And if the message is important enough, bam! It fires an electrical impulse down this long cable, the axon, sending that message on its way. And of course, not all neurons have the same job. You've got your sensory neurons. Think of them as reporters on the scene bringing information into the CNS. Then there are motor neurons. They're the delivery guys carrying the commands out from the CNS to your muscles. And then, connecting them all, you have the association neurons. They're the analysts making sense of it all. So, a signal zips down one neuron. But then what? How does it actually jump to the next one in line? Well, this is where things get really cool. An incredible chemical dance takes place. Get this, neurons don't actually touch. There's this tiny, microscopic gap between them called the synapse. So to get across that gap, the electrical signal has to do something kind of magical. It has to change its form and become a chemical signal. And you can see exactly how it works right here. As that electrical impulse arrives at the very end of the first neuron, it triggers the release of these little bubbles filled with special chemicals. We call them neurotransmitters. These chemicals then just burst out and flood into that synaptic gap. Let's break it down into 3 simple steps. 1. The electrical signal arrives. 2. The chemical messengers are released across the gap. 3. They lock on to the next neuron, like a key fitting into a lock, and bam! A brand new electrical impulse kicks off. It's a breathtakingly fast, electrical to chemical to electrical relay race. Okay, now that we know how the messages get passed, let's talk about when this system goes into absolute overdrive. I'm talking about the reflex. You know when you touch a hot stove and your hand flies back before you even really feel the pain? That's a reflex. It's a pure survival move, an automatic response that completely bypasses the brain because speed is everything. It's a crucial, hardwired shortcut that's managed entirely by the spinal cord. This direct route is called the reflex arc. A stimulus, the heat, hits a receptor in your skin. The signal zips along a sensory neuron directly to the spinal cord. Now here's the key part. It skips the line to the brain. It gets passed immediately to a motor neuron, which instantly screams at a muscle to contract and pull you away. This all happens before your brain even gets the memo that, hey, that was hot. But let's be clear, reflexes are the emergency lane on the highway. For pretty much everything else we do, the signal has to travel all the way up to the main headquarters, the brain. Right. For any action you consciously choose to do, like picking up a cup of coffee or deciding to send a text, that nerve impulse travels all the way up the spinal cord to the brain. This is where the real magic of thinking, processing, and decision-making happens. And the brain has its own specialized departments. You've got the cerebrum. That's the big, wrinkly part on top. It's the CEO's office. It's where your intelligence, your memory, and your voluntary actions live. It's the part that says, let's walk. But then, tucked away at the back, you have the cerebellum. It's the master of coordination. It doesn't decide to walk, but it makes sure that walk is smooth and that you stay balanced.
And man, all of this processing takes a colossal amount of energy. Get this, your brain is only about 2% of your body's weight, but it devours more than a quarter of all the oxygen you breathe. It is an incredibly demanding, energy-hungry organ. Okay, so the brain has made a decision. An order has been sent. How does that order get carried out? And what about all the vital stuff happening in your body that you don't have to think about at all? This brings us to two more divisions. First, there's the somatic system, which handles all your voluntary muscle movements, the conscious commands. But then you have the autonomic system. This is the autopilot. It's the silent, tireless manager that takes care of your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, all the critical stuff running in the background. And this is where it gets really cool. The autonomic system itself is split into two opposing forces. You have the sympathetic division, which revs you up for fight or flight. It's the gas pedal. It accelerates your heart rate and sharpens your focus. Then you have the parasympathetic division, which calms everything down for rest and digest. It's the brake pedal. It's this constant, beautiful tug of war that keeps your body perfectly tuned for any situation. So let's quickly recap that entire incredible journey. It all starts with a stimulus. A receptor detects it. A sensory neuron zips the signal to the CNS for processing. A motor neuron then carries the command out to an effector, like a muscle, which produces the final response. From sensation to action, all in a fraction of a second. And that brings us to our final, kind of mind-bending thought. We've traced the physical path of a signal from start to finish, but it leaves us with this profound question to ponder. If every thought and every action is just a chain reaction of neurons firing, a beautiful, complex biological machine, where in that chain does a conscious choice, a decision, actually begin?